Welcome, everybody, to another BJ's Connections podcast. I'm excited to be able to share this beautiful woman with you because I know that there are some of you out there who really need what she has to offer. I would love to introduce you to Colleen Pelar. She is a longtime animal trainer. So, yes, she's one of those who can help you understand your pet, your cat, or your dog. And she spent years and years in that profession. And now she has something a little different to be able to give those of you who also love pets. So, Colleen, thank you for joining me. Welcome to the podcast.
It's so nice to be here, BJ.
I would love it if you would share just a little bit with our listeners where you're dialing in from and how you got to be where you're at now, which is a little bit of a transition.
Okay. I currently live in Michigan, just north of Detroit, and I moved here about 4 years ago when my husband was ready to downsize, and my son said, "Oh, we're expecting a baby," and the timing fit that I had the chance to be a local grandparent. So that was the only thing that I thought could move me north because I don't do cold well. But I'm learning. I'm learning. And so my background is I was a dog trainer for, it depends on how we count it, but since 1991. Um, and I struggled with burnout and compassion fatigue toward the end of my career, where I just was feeling like maybe what I could offer wasn't enough, and that it felt almost the personal failing piece of it and not the systemic. These are the challenges that society is dealing with and the dogs are dealing with and that families are dealing with and the bandwidth issues. And so, in my own search for things to help myself feel better, I dove deep into positive psychology and resilience and coaching and all the things and wound up kind of turning my practice or completely converting my practice. I no longer train dogs, and now I support primarily pet professionals and people who have been referred to me by pet professionals with all of those things, those ways that we sometimes feel that our efforts aren't enough, and the struggles that come with that.
Well, that sounds like a beautiful support. It sounds like it comes from the heart experience. So, if I understand right, you are there for those who are training pets, cats, dogs, or they're in the veterinary business, they're in the animal business of some type. They are the one giving, and they're starting to feel that burnout or that lack or that it's never enough. I can't do enough. I can't save every animal I see.
Yes, yes, exactly. Pet professional is a big, broad term. So it does include all those things you said. It's dog trainers, cat trainers, um, pet sitters,
Yeah.
shelter and rescue, veterinary clinics, daycares, groomers. All, I mean, there's all sorts of nuance and profession within the professions. But one of the common feelings is this strong connection to animals and wanting them to have good, happy, meaningful lives and wanting to meet their needs. And to do that, we need to meet the needs of the humans who are supporting these animals, so the families. Um, and it gets hard sometimes because there are struggles, there are time issues and financial issues and all sorts of issues that come into play, that when the ideal outcome for an animal would be, just as a simple example, way more exercise. And your client is like, "Are you kidding? Who has time for that?" Or in a shelter where an animal that you have dearly loved and cared for months and months and months just continually isn't finding a home.
Mm.
And you think, well, I don't have room in my home for this animal. And yet I really, really want this animal to have what I wish and it deserves, what I wish for it and what it deserves. And there's a weight there, a sort of a disenfranchised grief weight. So yes, pet professionals of any type, people who are really committed to serving and also a little overwhelmed by how much they're doing, and yet what they're doing to them does not feel like it's enough.
I could envision that your gift of training and the tools and the insights you bring would be beautiful for a veterinary office to have you come in and do a training, do a support for their entire staff. Same thing for the volunteer associations where they're taking in pets and trying to find them homes, adoption
Hmm.
centers. Is that something that you have done, can do?
It is something I have done and can do, and I love. There was a veterinary practice in Virginia that I did bi-monthly sessions for the first several years of the business being like before the doors opened, the owner contacted me. And so we were building the culture as they went. And that was so fun and so reinforcing to help people see their impact and be intentional about how they wanted to to be in their work relationships and their experiences at work and their ability to leave it behind when they walked out the door, all of those things. So it's super fun
Oh
to kind
man,
of support people in those ways.
I could see that that would be so impactful and so positive and change the culture of the veterinary clinic or the adoption centers. That is so awesome. So I know on this journey of, starting basically a new career, like most entrepreneurs, there's probably one or two little bumps along the way. Can you can you
No,
share?
there were no bumps.
None is smooth sailing all the time. Are you willing to share maybe one or two bumps that someone else might relate to and go, oh yeah, I've been there?
Absolutely. Well, the big bump is, of course, nobody's searching for this because it is such a small thing. Like they don't know that there's support available when they think that it's their own personal fail. Like there isn't a Google search for a dog trainer who thinks she's not good enough at dog training.
Aw.
Um, so there's that piece is hard, but also I have no background in marketing or building any of that. And so what I've learned to lean into is what matters most to me. And what matters most to me is creating safety and connection with my clients. And so do I have a million people on my email list? No, I do not. Do I have a lot of people who come because they feel safe here and they feel we can be real here and they feel this is a place to connect? Yes, I do. So I'd rather have fewer people who are reaching for something I know how to give than more people who are coming because I understand how to, I don't know, do all the back end pieces of creating I don't know how to do any of that. So yes, that was and continues to be a challenge in building business.
Yeah, not unlike, I mean, not unlike anything that every entrepreneur faces. It's like, okay, I have a message, I have something I love, I know it makes a difference. How do I put it in front of the right people? How do I
Right,
attract new clients? And I talk about that all the time. How do you attract your ideal clients naturally? And the biggest thing is be yourself, find where you're comfortable showing up because then you will attract those people who really want what you have and will do something with it. Because just like an algorithm, a million people who are not engaged are not worth having on your list one way or
right,
another. But
right.
100, 300, 500, 1,000 that are engaged, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
So,
And your point about and we'll do something with it
yes.
is such an important piece. Um, my my background learning style was always like learn more, learn more, learn more, but don't take action
Ooh.
because I was always sure there was like that one piece I was missing. Um, and I'm happy to say in adulthood, late adulthood, like probably starting at 40, I figured out learn, take action, learn more, take action, learn more, take action. And have I completely turned that around? No, I have not. But that experience of that a little bit frozenness of like, I want to learn, but I can't take action. Finding the people you connect with who help you figure out what the action is that you'd like to take, then figure out why you don't feel comfortable taking it, and then getting that stuff resolved so that you can take the actions you really would like to take. That's magic. So yes, finding people, whomever they are, who help you take action One of my friends calls it dangerously empowered, that she sometimes is like, I feel dangerously empowered, watch out.
I
And I
love
think
it.
that's kind of awesome.
That is kind of awesome. And yes, I mean, that accountability and a mentor, that's why we are coaches. And that's why we've reached out for coaching, is because we know there's a quicker way to learn something. And if somebody helps us learn it and holds us accountable in whatever way is, good for us, then we're more likely to take action. We're more likely to put it into effect and make the difference that we want to make. I mean, that's the whole reason why we put our programs and our ideas out there, is because we want to make a difference. So that's
Yes, yes.
super valid point.
And also honoring and addressing all of the reasons why a person doesn't take action.
Mm,
So accountability can be one of those tricky words where
yeah.
it can feel like, I'm going to help you be accountable, or it's going to be like, no, 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 I'm going to find out what's in the way, and we're going to help figure out some of that with respect. Like there's a good
Yes.
reason something's in your
Yes.
way. If something is holding you back, there is a positive intention behind that. Let's find it. Let's find out what needs to be protected, and we'll protect that, and what doesn't maybe need to be protected that we're inhibiting in some way, and let that part free.
Super powerful and right on. So right on. Yes. So finding somebody that you relate with, that gently, lovingly, with compassion and understanding, can walk
Mhm.
with you
Yeah,
through your journey to find where you really want to be. And I think
yeah.
that's what you do, Colleen.
It's what I try to do. And I think that's really the magic of good coaching. And I think most coaches have a coach who helps them, because we all have this experience of being a little too close to our own situation. And in fact, that happens in every field. So I adopted a dog a year ago, and I have sought out multiple dog trainers for advice and tips and thoughts on how to best support my dog. And at first, I had a thought of like, well, I should know this. I trained dogs for a million trillion years. And then I was like, and also, I want someone's fresh perspective on, well, in this circumstance, in this household, in this dog, in this, context. And it's been so cool just to get fresh perspectives from somebody who can see the situation more broadly than I can. Well, that's what you and I do for other people, is
Yeah.
we ask the right questions to help them see their own lives differently.
So smart, and so compassionate, and such great advice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I have to ask you, what is one of the most exciting and rewarding experiences you've had as a coach?
One of my very favorite ones is a client who had um, a difficult conversation with the doctor who she felt was not listening to her. And to the point where she was really thinking of changing to another practice. She was like, nope, this doctor's not listening to me. And there were reasons why she'd chosen that doctor. There were reasons why she wanted to be there, and it wasn't feeling good. But she wasn't really feeling entirely comfortable saying to this person, I'm not loving the service here. and um, and she did. She found the ways to do that. She found the ways to advocate for herself. She found the ways to communicate what mattered most to her. And the other person was able to hear it. And we can't always control how someone else is going to respond. We can only, set up the pieces that matter on her end, and she did. But the result was also good. But the important piece here is she recognized she needed to take an action, and had not had a lifetime of practice advocating for herself. She has a new skill set now, a new ability to say, well, this matters to me. And so I am going to have a difficult conversation. And so it's shown up in other areas of her life as well. But that
Mhm.
one was kind of a pinpoint moment for her where she had to shift her way of being. And as you can see, that has nothing to do with being a pet professional, because guess what? It's really all just about life. But a pet professional who can advocate for herself with her doctor can also have a difficult conversation with a client, or any other circumstance. So coaching coaching tends to have a niche, but really the themes are so broad. They're about who are you in this world.
So true. That is excellent advice and really a great insight. The coaching doesn't have to be specifically about one thing because it really is the life,
Yeah.
our lives that we're dealing with. And we bring that to work, we bring that to our personal experiences. That is a beautiful example. Thank you so much. So, what is something you would love for our listeners to be able to take advantage of or to be able to access through you? Whether it's a lesson, a gift, insight.
Well, now that I have that client on my mind, I will tell you one of the small little things that I said to her along the way um, was the difference between and but. And we sometimes talk about our feelings. So we'll say, you know, I'm disappointed that I couldn't do this, but, and then we put the bright side on, but now I can do this. And I said, well, if we switch that but to an and, we can make space for both. I'm disappointed that I couldn't do this, and I'm looking forward to doing this. And then we can allow the the hard piece to still be there and to be recognized and to be honored and not negated, you know.
Ah,
I'm disappointed, but okay, moving on. No, no, no. You know, I am disappointed and I'm looking forward to. And it was a small little thing in a conversation one day, and it just cycled back up a couple of times. And I was like, oh, this matters in other sessions, where she would be like, and uh, and she had been at a party and she met a person who had a broken leg. And the person with the broken leg said, like, I'm so frustrated that my leg is broken, but it's okay because I can still do things. And my client was like, or you could be really disappointed that your leg is broken. And she said, I just felt like that was the best conversation at the moment. Yay, yay, like just this little tiny thing. But you know what? Some of our big things in life really are little tiny things.
it's true.
Just slight reframes in how we feel about something or how we experience something or how we move through the world. And they're going to be different for each of us. Like, is that the one for someone? Who knows? But I think it's an interesting piece. And of course, I love words. So I like that it was a word play kind of one.
I love that because I've used I've used the but, for forever because it really does kind of take the power out of, what you said first. This is a great addition because there may be times when you really need to address this piece here that doesn't feel so good. And like you said, honor it, not shove it under the rug.
Yeah.
So yeah, playing with that, I think is a great additional tool in everybody's toolbox, when you're trying to
Right.
figure out how do I get around this feeling that doesn't feel so good or this experience.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it allows us to still enjoy that silver lining that we were reaching for.
Yeah,
It,
that is so
it doesn't
smart.
take the power out of either half of the equation.
What a beautiful thing. See, you taught me something great. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna put that in my toolbox too.
Well, can I flip it now? Because I'm so used to being a coach, I have trouble being on the receiving end. What's something that you think is a really helpful tip or tool or
I think learning to interrupt the story that's going on in the head,
Mm.
because so often everybody has a story. You get up in the morning, look in the mirror. We all have a story. So learning to recognize that there's a story running in your head that you don't want, and then maybe using one of these two tools to recognize it and turn it around just a little bit. I think that has been a life-saving tool for me, is to
Yeah.
be able to stop that story and take the power out of the part that I don't want without negating that it really happened,
Hmm.
but still be able to move into the focus on what I do want so I can live in that space
Yeah,
versus the other ones. Oh, yeah, good question. Thanks, Lo.
that's helpful. Thank you. Yeah, they fit together really nicely, those two. And the fact is, our brains are always making stories. That's,
Oh, yeah.
they're sense-making machines. So
Yep.
once we can notice our stories, we can modify them.
Yep. And you'll usually only notice it when you have that feeling in your body somewhere. Your stomach gets tight, your jaw gets tight, or you start to get a headache. You notice a physical response in your body because it's responding to the story in your head.
Yeah, yeah. But I think for many people, until they're taught that that physical response is related to the story,
True.
they just they don't know that. And so then it's inevitable that this is how I feel. There's no other choice. This is how it has to be. This is the way things are. And when you can stop the story and go, oh, let's look at the story. Interesting story. What else is here?
Yeah.
Um,
Where did that come from?
yeah. So
Yeah.
then we can notice those body signals as our clue now in the future to go,
Hmm.
oh, now
Hmm.
let me stop and think about stories.
Yeah. So true. So as we are wrapping up, I want to know who is an ideal client, someone you would just love to work with. So we make sure that everybody's radar is on as they are out talking with people or interacting with people. They will notice, oh, maybe I know somebody I can connect with Colleen.
Okay. Well, if you have a pet, whoever provides any care for your pet is probably a really good client for me. So your pet sitter, your dog trainer, your veterinarian, the veterinary staff who are very, very much underserved, any of those people might be people who could benefit from being part of our community and just sort of getting the support of the animal related focus there. And very much my ideal clients are people who are curious and eager to grow. They tend to be people who care deeply about their work and give tremendously and still sort of struggle with that feeling of like it's so much and yet it's not enough. So those are my people. And then I also have a few people who have nothing to do with pets at all and they came in through referral and I adore them as well. So there's not a gate, but the people that are probably most likely to resonate with me and my work are pet professionals who are really very mission driven and passionate about their work and also kind of drained by it.
And what would you have someone say about you that would create so much curiosity that they would reach out and say, hey, Colleen, BJ told me we have to talk.
Oh dear, I don't know. Do you remember that part at the beginning where you said, what's the part you've struggled with? Maybe it's that. Uh, what would I have somebody say about?
I know what I would say.
Well, let's just toss the ball across the net here.
I would say if you know someone, you come across someone who is struggling, they love what they're doing, but they are feeling like she said, it's just never enough. I would say, I can tell you're really serious about your care for animals and you want to give the most, and you're probably giving more than anybody could expect or anybody would even imagine. I would love to introduce you to someone who might be able to help you have a tool or a tip or an idea to take care of yourself along the way so that as you are caring for the animals, as you are living your life, you know you're doing your best, you know it makes a difference, and you know how to take care of yourself so you can continue to do what you love. Can I introduce you to Colleen? I think she would love to meet you.
Yes, please. That sounds lovely. Because
Exactly.
I would love to. I really would.
All right. Anything else? Any lasting um, advice for our listeners?
I'm terrible at advice because it is so different for each of us. But I will say that finding the things that fill you up is worth the effort of the search. So
Yes.
looking for those find and they won't be the same as for everybody else. So you're not going to be able to just find up the article of the three most important things that fill you up. Uh, but when you find them, they will help.
Wonderful. So where can people reach you? Would you go ahead and just say either your email or your website so that we have it in the audio here?
Okay. My website is my name, ColleenPelar.com, and my email is Colleen@ColleenPelar.com. Would you like me to
Beautiful.
spell it for the audio?
Might as well.
Okay. So Colleen is Colleen, and Pelar is Pelar.
Okay. All right. This has been delightful. Thank you so much. I'm glad we could meet up and share your love and your support and your excellence with the world. Because I know there's somebody out there who's just this close to burning out who needs you. So I hope
Thank you,
we'll
BJ.
reach
It's a
out and
pleasure to
talk to
be
you.
here.
All right. Thank you again. And for those of you who are sticking with us, we will see you on the next podcast. Be sure you reach out and let Colleen know that you enjoyed our podcast. And if you come across someone, including yourself, who would like to reach out and just have a conversation, be sure you pop over to her website, contact her, and I know that she will help you take care of yourself as you are taking care of the animals that you love. Bye bye for now.